With the U.S. elections just around the corner, the stakes are high, and the future feels more uncertain than ever. As voters prepare to make their choice, Kamala Harris has emerged as a candidate sparking both excitement and fierce debate. Her vision for America, focused on climate action, social justice, and a new approach to foreign relations, have caused a lot of controversy. Supporters see Harris as a leader who could bring fresh ideas and tackle some of the most pressing issues of our time. Meanwhile, her critics wonder if her policies can really confront the challenges America has faced over the past 4 years. But Harris's appeal goes beyond borders. In fact, some countries are already showing strong support for her candidacy, seeing her as a partner in the fight for a better world. Now let's look at the top 10 countries supporting Kamala Harris. 1. Mexico. Mexico, as a close neighbor and partner, has shown support for Kamala Harris, largely due to her compassionate and practical approach to immigration and border relations. Mexicans appreciate Harris's efforts to address the root causes of migration and her commitment to working with Latin American countries on development and security issues. Harris has visited Mexico in her role as vice president, leaving a positive impression by focusing on creating economic opportunities and enhancing security cooperation. Her stance on climate reform also aligns with Mexico's environmental challenges, providing potential for collaboration in green energy and sustainability efforts. Many Mexicans see Harris as an advocate for humane policies that would enhance U.S.-Mexico relations and facilitate smoother border management. With a focus on fair trade, climate action, and respect for migrant rights, Harris's leadership appeals to Mexican citizens hoping for policies that emphasize mutual respect and growth. Mexicans believe her presidency could enhance collaboration in various sectors, strengthening a partnership that is vital for both nations. 2. Canada. Canada's support for Kamala Harris is rooted in the country's affinity for progressive policies that prioritize inclusivity, environmental action, and a collaborative international outlook. Her stance on healthcare and social equity aligns with Canadian values, fostering hope for a presidency that might inspire similar policies in the U.S. that mirror Canada's approach. Harris's commitment to strengthening alliances also reassures Canadians of a stable and cooperative relationship with the U.S. on trade, security, and cross-border issues. Canadians view her as a leader who could bridge gaps, given her multicultural background and her dedication to social justice. Harris's emphasis on clean energy and reducing carbon emissions aligns with Canada's own goals, and her support for equitable healthcare resonates with Canadians who take pride in their own universal system. The Canadian public sees her as a natural ally whose policies reflect many shared values. 3. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, closely linked with the United States through a shared history, has demonstrated notable support for Kamala Harris. British citizens view her as a refreshing political figure who champions progressive values, aligning with the UK's increasing focus on issues like climate change, social equality, and international cooperation. Harris's stance on climate action resonates strongly in the UK, where environmental advocacy has become a national priority. Her focus on renewable energy and green economy policies finds alignment with Britain's own green initiatives. British politicians and public figures have noted her commitment to building strong alliances and respect for NATO, crucial for the UK's security interests. As the UK navigates its post-Brexit identity, many believe that Harris's international perspective and advocacy for collaboration will reinforce a stable partnership. The UK admires Harris for her accomplishments, breaking barriers in gender and racial politics, inspiring a new generation. Her presidency could strengthen the special relationship between the two nations, especially on defense, trade, and climate. 4. Germany. Germany has been one of the strongest European advocates for Kamala Harris, viewing her political career as a symbol of resilience and progress. Germans tend to value her firm stance on social justice, climate reform, and international diplomacy, issues that resonate deeply in a country known for prioritizing environmental sustainability and progressive social policies. As one of Europe's leading economies, Germany sees Harris's climate-focused platform as aligning with its own aggressive goals for renewable energy and carbon neutrality. German officials also appreciate her commitment to multilateralism and cooperation with allies, which is seen as a refreshing counterpoint to rising nationalism in global politics. Harris's presidency is viewed as a potential boon for NATO and EU-US relations, which would likely lead to strengthened economic partnerships and a unified approach to tackling global challenges like cybersecurity, health crises, and climate change. Additionally, the German public sees her as an inspirational figure, breaking boundaries and promoting values of equity and tolerance. In Germany, Harris's leadership is anticipated to bring renewed stability and optimism in transatlantic relations. 5. Australia. Australia has demonstrated strong support for Kamala Harris due to her focus on regional alliances and climate action, both of which align with Australian national interests. Australia views Harris's commitment to the Indo-Pacific as essential for countering regional security challenges and fostering a rules-based order, especially in light of China's growing influence. Her policies on renewable energy and addressing climate change have gained considerable approval in Australia, where environmental sustainability is a major public concern. Australians appreciate Harris's advocacy for women's rights and social justice, which aligns with Australia's own progressive social values. Additionally, her commitment to collaboration with allies reassures Australians of a stable, cooperative relationship with the U.S. Harris's presidency would likely strengthen U.S.-Australia ties, with potential for new agreements on climate policy, trade, and security, contributing to a safer and more resilient Indo-Pacific region. 6. Sweden. Sweden's support for Kamala Harris reflects the country's alignment with her progressive values on climate action, social justice, and human rights. As a global leader in sustainability, Sweden sees Harris's ambitious environmental agenda, particularly her commitment to renewable energy and emissions reduction, as a promising foundation for stronger U.S.-Sweden cooperation on climate change. Her dedication to gender equality and social equity resonates deeply within Swedish society, which prioritizes inclusivity and progressive social policies. Many Swedes admire Harris for her advocacy on issues like women's rights, LGBTQ+ protections, and labor rights, all of which align with Sweden's own approach to human rights and equality. Harris's support for multilateralism and international cooperation also appeals to Sweden, which values strong partnerships within global frameworks like the United Nations and the European Union. Furthermore, her commitment to advancing technology and innovation echoes Sweden's interests, with potential collaboration in green tech and digital infrastructure. Swedes view Harris as a leader who would strengthen transatlantic ties, promote shared democratic values, and advance global initiatives in sustainability and human rights. For Sweden, Harris represents a partner with a similar vision for a more equitable, sustainable, and collaborative world. 7. France. France has demonstrated considerable support for Kamala Harris due to her commitment to environmental policies, social equality, and strong diplomacy. French citizens, known for their advocacy for liberty and equality, see Harris's progressive approach as compatible with their values. Her emphasis on climate change aligns well with France's ambitious environmental agenda, and there is hope that her presidency would strengthen international climate agreements. French leaders view her advocacy for diplomacy and respect for multilateral agreements as key for France's foreign policy interests, especially within the EU framework. Harris's respect for diversity and inclusion resonates with the French public, which faces its own challenges around racial and social integration. France values her achievements as a leader who has broken racial and gender barriers, which appeals to the French spirit of égalité. Her commitment to women's rights and justice reforms aligns with France's social priorities, and her presidency is anticipated to encourage a closer U.S.-France relationship, promoting peace, security, and economic growth. 8. Japan. Japan's support for Kamala Harris stems from her balanced approach to diplomacy and her commitment to maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific. The country views Harris's stance on international trade, technology, and defense partnerships as beneficial for sustaining regional stability, particularly as Japan continues to navigate its own complex relations with China. With the U.S. being Japan's key ally, Harris's familiarity with Asian culture and her advocacy for strong, united alliances provide reassurance in an era marked by global uncertainty. The Japanese government and citizens have expressed optimism over her views on clean energy, technology innovation, and strategic deterrence, areas in which Japan seeks collaboration. Harris's clear understanding of the intricacies of the U.S.-Japan relationship, as well as her commitment to bolstering economic growth and combating climate change, resonates with Japanese policy goals. Many Japanese people also admire her for breaking through gender and racial barriers, reflecting the growing desire within Japan for a more inclusive society. Her presidency would likely usher in continued cooperation, solidifying a partnership that has long been a cornerstone of Japan's foreign policy. 9. Ireland. Ireland has shown enthusiastic support for Kamala Harris, largely due to her inclusive values, commitment to social justice, and strong stance on human rights. The Irish public, known for their appreciation of progressive policies, sees in Harris a leader who resonates with Ireland's social values and priorities. Her stance on climate change is particularly compelling in Ireland, where environmental issues are at the forefront of political discourse. Harris's support for international cooperation and her focus on multilateralism align well with Ireland's commitment to diplomacy and global partnerships. Irish citizens admire her heritage as a woman of color who has broken racial and gender barriers, reflecting Ireland's growing commitment to diversity. Harris's emphasis on fair trade and economic justice resonates with Ireland's focus on ethical economic growth. Many Irish people see her presidency as an opportunity for stronger U.S.-Ireland relations, fostering collaboration on climate action, human rights, and trade. Her policies promise to build upon the long-standing friendship between the two countries. 10. South Korea. South Korea's support for Kamala Harris is rooted in her advocacy for a strong U.S.-Asia alliance and her commitment to defending democracy. As a crucial U.S. ally in East Asia, South Korea values Harris's stance on regional security and her dedication to maintaining peace on the Korean peninsula. Her policies on cybersecurity, economic innovation, and climate change align well with South Korean priorities, creating potential for a robust partnership. The South Korean public admires Harris's diverse background and sees her as a champion of social justice, which resonates in a country experiencing its own social shifts. South Korean officials view her as someone who understands the complexities of U.S.-Asia relations, especially concerning North Korea's influence and China's rising power. Harris's commitment to technological innovation and environmental sustainability aligns with South Korea's aspirations to be a leader in green technology. Her presidency would likely bring enhanced collaboration in defense, technology, and trade, which are essential pillars of the South Korea-U.S. relationship.